is the Louie T Network.
In the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. I, of course, am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the program, week number 5 in the National Football League, Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football. New England Patriots coming off of that beatdown last week against the Kansas City Chiefs, looking for a little bit of redemption in this game. A lot of naysayers, a lot of doubters, a lot of questions. A lot of questions. Something they're not used to in New England over the last week. Taking on the undefeated Cincinnati Bengals, fresh off of a bye. So this was a big one for both teams. Cincinnati, the knock on them, big time games, bright lights, big stage. They always have stage fright and they get drubbed. We saw it last year. Primetime game against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the division on the road against the Steelers, blown out of the game. They get to the postseason. They finally win the division, get a home playoff game, lose to the San Diego Chargers. San Diego Superchargers. And so you look at this Cincinnati Bengals team, here's a big stage, a chance for them to announce to the entire league that, hey, we're here and we're here to stay. And we're going to be around for a while. Get used to us. So Patriots struggling, Cincinnati undefeated. What was going to give? I said this in the preview for this game that this was a trap game for the Cincinnati Bengals. Don't get caught in the trap. Everybody's telling you how good you are. Everybody's telling you how bad the Patriots are right now. And I know the Cincinnati Bengals weren't listening to everyone talking about the demise of the Patriots, but you couldn't help but think, hey, they're vulnerable. Let's go in there and take these guys down. And I'm saying to myself, as bad as I want to pronounce this Patriots team dead, it's Brady, it's Belichick, they're finally running out of juice and running out of gas. I said, I can't do it. B&B Factory, man, until these guys are done, I can't put them to rest, man. The Brady and Belichick Factory, it just produces wins. And this was a prime opportunity for these two to once again rise above the noise. And I felt like they were going to take this opportunity on the primetime stage to do exactly that. Patriots come out inspired on a 10-play, 80-yard, 5-minute drive. Touchdown march right down the field, capped off with the 1-yard Stephen Ridley touchdown plunge. It is 7-0. And you could tell that this was an inspired drive. The crowd was involved. Brady was pumped. And this is the Brady that I talked about last week that I'm used to seeing. The Brady that sits in the pocket, gets that little jump and hop, that pat one, first read, second read, third read, okay, I'm going to throw it here. The Brady that is comfortable in the pocket, trusts his offensive line, and is making his reads and going through his progressions and then makes a laser-like throw. That's the Brady that I'm used to seeing. That's the Brady we saw in this game. Still missed some throws that you're used to seeing Tom Brady connect on, but all in all, you could tell that this game meant something to the Patriots. And I thought that the announcers covering the game, they always do a wonderful job in Michaels and Collinsworth. They made a point to say that it felt like a playoff atmosphere in Foxborough, and you could tell that's the kind of focus that they came out with in this game, and you could see it on that opening drive. And you knew it was going to be a tough go of it for the Cincinnati Bengals in this game. They were going to have to match that intensity and also make plays, score points, most importantly, and not turn it over. And so it was up to Cincinnati to match the intensity that the Patriots were going to put forth in this game. It's 7-0. New England up early. Cincinnati responds with a solid drive, but solid wasn't going to be good enough on this night. They had to play excellent, extraordinary football. Solid wasn't going to be good enough, and that's what they were on this night. They were solid. They didn't play bad football necessarily, did the Cincinnati Bengals. They did have a lot of mistakes, though, and those mistakes would haunt them. We'll talk about those a little bit later, but They didn't necessarily play a terrible game early on. They just didn't play exceptional, and they needed exceptional to stay in this game. Solid drive, but you had to settle for a Mike Nugent 52-yard field goal that fell short, and the wind was blowing. In his defense, the wind was blowing pretty vigorously, about 9 miles per hour. Kind of, I don't want to say necessarily at him and pushing the ball back, but there was a wind going, I want to say, east, and it was going slightly backwards. So it was going to be tough for him to knock it home from 52 yards. He wasn't able to do so. And so it's 7-0. And with that miss, what you also do is not only do you not give your team momentum and points, you also give the Patriots, who are hot right now, some excellent field position. And with that field position, Brady nearly throws an interception. Okay, Emmanuel Lemire had a chance at this football, probably should have picked it off. And then again, in a game like this, you need to take advantage of opportunities. Brady gives you a gift. You need to take that gift and run with it. He did not pick it off. It was a dart now. It was a laser. And it hit him right in the chest. I don't think he was expecting the ball to come straight to him. He was looking more so to break the pass up, and instead got the football thrown right at him. He couldn't adjust. Bounces off his shoulder pads. Next play, Brady is able to find Tim Wright on a beautiful throw up the seam. And this is the thing that we have to be wary of now. The Patriots made this trade, and again, I don't think that this trade was necessary. But you know how the Patriots love to go 2 tight end sets and have 2 athletically gifted tight ends on the field. Well, they got Gronk. He's starting to get healthy. He's still not there yet, but you see flashes of Gronk starting to get back into the guy that was the league leader in touchdowns, mirrored 2.5, 3 seasons ago. So if he can get back to that form, look out. Of course, if he has a tag team partner, he's that more dangerous. And Tim Wright seems to be rounding into form, starting to get this Patriots playbook under control. And if Brady starts to trust him and he starts to make plays, that could add another dimension to this Patriots offense that they're lacking right now. And Tim Wright was special in this game, and you're starting to see him get comfortable in this set. And so he catches the football, takes a shot, gets in the end zone. It's 14-0. And again, if you're Cincinnati, you knew this was going to happen. You knew the Patriots were going to come out with a lot of energy. You knew they were going to come out juiced. You needed to match the intensity. Thus far, the Cincinnati Bengals are sleepwalking in this game, and now they're down 14-0. They need to do something, and they need to do it fast. That takes us to the second quarter. Patriots up 14-0. A bunch of Pats penalties. They were sloppy on this possession with the Pats. A lot of penalties helping out the Cincinnati Bengals. The one thing you don't want to do if you're the Patriots is give these guys any help. They're reeling right now. One more blow could knock these guys down onto the canvas, and they may not get up. Instead, the Patriots help them out with penalties, allow them to get down the field. And then the Patriots are helping you out, and the Cincinnati Bengals simply did not want to take advantage of all the help that they were being given. As Jermaine Gresham, this isn't how you get a big contract in your contract season. This isn't how you do it. Drops an easy, what a great, gorgeous pass by Andy Dalton. Drops it right in the bucket, and it goes right through. It must have been a hole at the bottom of the bucket because it went right through the hands of Jermaine Gresham. And the Cincinnati Bengals have to settle for a chip shot field goal instead of cashing it in for 7. And these are the type of plays when you're on the road and you're looking for a little bit of momentum and you're looking to stop the bleeding. These are the type of plays that you have to have. They didn't get it. And this was a big one. This cost them a touchdown. And we know the mantra. We know the motto. And you got to stick to it. Field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do in the National Football League. And that was a huge drop. Field goal instead of 7. It's 14-3 now. Patriots still on top. Brady slightly behind Gronk on third down leads to an incompletion and a field goal by Steven Gostkowski. It is now 17-3, so the Pats go back down the field and get their field goal back. A.J. Green, this one hurts. Young, fresh, and green. A.J. Green with a huge fumble right before the half. Any bit of momentum that the Cincinnati Bengals may have gotten by holding the Patriots to a field goal was dashed after this fumble. Luckily enough for them, they didn't give up a 7 spot after this fumble, but hey, to give up a field goal after just getting the football back and turning it over, it was indicative of how this first half went for this and how the rest of the night would go for the Cincinnati Bengals football team, as they're now down 20-3 in this game after they tack on a field goal, and that's our halftime score. And then a football player formerly known as Pac-Man, with a beautiful punt return of 47 yards, gives the Bengals a much needed spark at the time. The very next play, Andy Dalton hits Mohamed Sanu for a 37-yard touchdown. And just like that, we got ourselves a ball game, folks. And just imagine, if Jermaine Gresham catches that touchdown, we're talking 20-14 now. It's a totally different ball game. Patriots starting to feel the pressure a little bit if this game is one score. Instead, it's still a two score. And again, you tack on that A.J. Green fumble, all of a sudden now, again, all these mistakes, just keep in mind, you take that mistake out of the equation. You give Jermaine Gresham a touchdown instead of the Cincinnati Bengals having to settle for a field goal. We're talking about 17-14. But you can't take those out of the equation. They did make those mistakes. It's 20-10 instead of 20-14 or even 17-14. So Cincinnati's still down 10 points, but they're back in the football game. First time they've gotten to the end zone. Now they're showing a bit of life. Defense starts to step up a little bit. And just when you thought it was safe, just when you thought, okay, here comes the Cincinnati Bengals, Brady takes his team down the field. They get in the end zone. They make it a 27-10 lead. And this is when I knew the game was over. This is when I knew Cincinnati just didn't have it tonight. And they were making way too many mistakes. The ensuing kickoff is fumbled by Brandon Tate, scooped up by Arrington. They get in the end zone to the Patriots. It's 34-10. This game is over. Game, set, match. They tack on 3 field goals down the line and end up winning this game 43-17 through the New England Patriots. And this was a huge bounce back game for the Patriots. And who didn't see this one coming? I mean, I talked about this in the preview. Now, I didn't pick the Patriots, and I should have. But because I saw this one coming, but I said I needed to see it. I needed to see it because I saw some things out of this Patriots team on Monday Night Football versus the Kansas City Chiefs that I'm not used to seeing from the Patriots. And so I needed, and again, that Raiders game combined with that Kansas City Chiefs game, I was scared to death. So I needed to see this. I needed them to prove to me that they were legit still. And they did that. And I said, look, as long as it's Brady, as long as it's Belichick, hey, I can't fully turn my back on this Patriots football team. I just can't. And they're too talented. There's too many good football players on this team for them not to rectify some of their issues. And this was the perfect stage for them. This was the perfect opportunity for them to right the ship on Sunday Night Football, national television, against, quote-unquote, one of the best teams in the AFC. This was the perfect stage for them to exercise some of their demons. And that's exactly what the Patriots did. This is what they do. And flip side on that, Cincinnati, very disappointing effort. And you know what? I'm coming to expect this from Cincinnati. It's what I expect out of the Bengals when the lights are their brightest and the stage is its biggest. This is what I expect from the Cincinnati Bengals. This is why I can't bring myself to pick them to do anything of any significance in the AFC because of performances like this one. This is when you're supposed to play your best football, and it seems like this is when they save their worst football for the biggest stages and the brightest lights. This is when the Cincinnati Bengals don't show up. It's happened in the playoffs time and time again. That's why Andy Dalton is 0-3 in the postseason. This is why the Cincinnati Bengals can't get it done because they don't take advantage of opportunities. You can't have the turnovers. Okay, you can't have the turnovers on the road. A.J. Green with the fumble, Brandon Tate with the fumble. You can't have the drop touchdown. You can't have the drop interception. You can't have these mistakes on the road, especially against a really good football team in the New England Patriots. And they were desperate with the Patriots. You knew they were desperate coming into this game. You knew you had to play one of your best games of the season. You knew you needed your A game, and you didn't bring it. And so I always say this about Cincinnati. At home, they're one of the best teams in the league. You put them on the road against a really good team, and they can struggle. The question for me still remains, when you're playing a good team with a lot on the line, who are you? No, seriously, who are you, Cincinnati? Because even at home last year against San Diego, you weren't able to get it done in the postseason. I still have my doubts and reservations about this Cincinnati Bengals team. This game doesn't mean they're not a good football team. It just still has us asking the same questions. Have you gotten over that mental block in big games? Still can't seem to find a way to win when a lot's on the line. Big win for the Patriots, though. They needed this win in the worst way, and they went out and got it. Exercised some demons, answered a lot of questions, gave themselves a lot of momentum because they got a big one coming up, okay? They're going to win this division. I don't think anyone out there feels like anyone in that division is ready to overtake the Patriots yet, but the Bills went on the road, got a huge victory against the Detroit Lions, and so they got to go to Buffalo, do these Patriots in a showdown for first place in week number 6. So that's going to be a huge game within the AFC East. So this was a huge win for the Patriots to give them some momentum going into that game. Cincinnati, meanwhile, drops their first game of the season, goes to 3-1 on the season. And now they got a game against the Carolina Panthers, who just got a little bit of momentum against the Chicago Bears in their win. So if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you got to dust yourself off. You got another big one coming up against a team that they're pretty desperate in themselves. You got to find a way to go home and get it done and rectify all the issues that you had in this game. I thought that you had some breakdowns defensively, allowed guys to run free. I didn't think you ran the football enough in this game. I thought there were a lot of opportunities to run. I thought you had some success early in the game running the football, and I thought you went away from that a little bit. And I feel like you pressed. I thought Andy Dalton took too many shots down the field. You know, there were situations where it would be 3rd and 4, and he's chucking it, 35 yards down the field, out of bounds, forcing it deep to A.J. Green, where I would have loved to have seen him just move the sticks, silence the crowd, take them out of the game, and settle down. And I just thought that the Cincinnati Bengals at times were over aggressive in this game. And so it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the Patriots were the better team in this game. They made the least amount of mistakes. They took advantage of opportunities. And everything that the Patriots did well, the Cincinnati Bengals simply did not in this game. And so that's going to do it for this review. I thank you for joining me here in the lab room. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I'm just getting started here in week number 5 in the National Football League. I've got plenty more games to break down, so come back and join me as I continue to run down the list of games in week number 5 in the National Football League. I'll see you in a bit. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.